Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. The speculation continues on Boo Carter. Rumors all over the internet. What is really going on? We're going to break it down. We're going to get some inside information and see what is going on. But I want to start here because this was sent to me this morning on Twitter, and I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know if he's a troll. I don't know if he has information. I don't know if he has a scoop. But this is pretty much the narrative that is running all over the internet. So let's break down this tweet. Tennessee defensive back Boo Carter misses practice amid speculation. It says Tennessee sophomore defensive back Boo Carter was notably absent from Monday morning's practice. Now, practice has not started yet. Practice starts next Wednesday, but there are workouts, there are group events, team events going on right now. Has Boo Carter missed those? Is he showing up late to those? Because there's a lot of speculation that has been going on for quite some time. It goes on to say, fueling the speculation, Boo Carter was last seen at practice on July 8th. So let's go ahead and shut that down. And again, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who his sources are. I don't know what he knows or doesn't know, or if he is just a troll, but that is false. It says Boo Carter was last seen at practice on July the 8th. That is false. Brent Hubbs of VolQuest.com confirmed that Boo Carter was in the facility as late as last Wednesday. So was that the last time he was seen on campus? Was that the last time he was in the building? Was that the last time he was at maybe workouts or a team meeting or a team event? I don't know, but Brent Hubbs confirmed that he was in the building last Wednesday. I've seen that July 8th date floating around a lot. That is not true. Let's read more. According to sources close to the program, Carter's absence was unexcused, and the coaching staff has yet to provide an official reason. Team officials declined to comment when asked if the absence was injury-related, disciplinary, or personal. Carter, one of the most explosive returners on Tennessee's defense, is expected to play a major role in the secondary this season after a standout freshman year. So again, just a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, a lot of talk that Boo Carter has been missing events, has gone missing in action. He's gone AWOL. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth. Again, July 8th, that's not accurate. He was in the building last Wednesday. But how do you handle this? How does Josh Heupel handle this if Boo Carter is showing up late to meetings, if he is missing out on workouts? We had Sam Pendleton on the show a few weeks ago, and Sam talked about the way that Josh Heupel disciplines you, and that means everybody is going to pay for the sins of the guy that doesn't show up, the guy that's late. He talked about doing a lot of up downs, doing a lot of running, ready to puke because somebody else didn't handle their business accurately. Now, we also heard Miles Kittelman speak about the Nico situation. What happened when Nico left? And I think Miles is going to be a voice for this football team in 2025. I think he is going to be a leader in 2025. Let's hear Miles talk about after Nico left and some early similarities here with Boo Carter and Nico, if accurate. Again, this is all rumor and speculation, but let's hear what Miles Kittelman said.
I want to say surprised. I was a little bit in the know. Just, you could kind of get the vibes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just the way that you handle that is kind of like, I don't know. I've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
But, man, it's just, leading up to that moment, there were a couple times where you just go missing for 2 days and no communication, no nothing. And then you have some leaders on the team that are like, all right, like we're over here busting, getting after it. And you just dip for 2 days. Like, man, come on, we can't have that. But that's about all I want to touch on Nico.
So again, the Nico situation leading up to that moment, there were a couple of times where you just go missing for 2 days. When Nico bounced, when Nico hit the portal, when Nico disappeared around the spring game, that wasn't the first time. You saw the writing on the wall, and he talks about the leadership council, and the leadership council was fed up. The leadership council had had enough. Now, there is an article floating out there on the internet talking about how the leadership council is responding to this. What are they saying? We're going to get into that. We're going to break that down. But as always, you guys know what to do. Smash the thumbs up down there below the video. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts or insiders. We're not media. We don't pretend to be that. What we are is exactly what you guys are. For the fans, by the fans, we speculate just like fans do. I'm not trying to break news or give you inside information. I'm trying to talk about what's going on with Boo Carter. So if you like that dynamic, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got a fun live stream coming up tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. 4-star linebacker, Tennessee Vol commit Braden Rouse is going to be on the show. Should be a fun conversation. Then we'll be live Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing EA Sports College Football and talking all things Tennessee football. But let's go take a look at this article again. A to Z Sports. Zach Reagan, love him, hate him. Man, I love Zach. I know he's a hot topic. Some people love him, some people hate him, but he's on top of it. and I like what Zach Reagan does. He's a good dude. These two team leaders are sick of it. Insider shares the latest on the situation with Tennessee Vols defensive back Boo Carter. Well, who is the insider? Well, once again, it is Tony Basilio. He's the one that's putting all this out there. What's his source? What's his connection? What does he have? Because this is a lot of the stuff that you're seeing rolling around the internet. This is the quote. They're having some issues with Boo Carter. He says, I do think it's real, and I don't at this point in time think it's a slam dunk that he's playing here this year. I think that's a fair thing to say. Now, this is what I talked about in my video last night. That's what Tony Basilio had kind of put out. And now looking at it and kind of seeing this come together, and if it's true, if this is about showing up late, if this is about missing practice, that can be fixed. You can fix that if you take action. But it's on Boo Carter if that is what's going on. Allegedly, if that's what's going on, he's got to clean it up. He's got to fix it. He's got to prove to his teammates. He's got to earn his teammates' trust. The culture in Knoxville, you can't preach culture and then let things like this slide. Nobody is bigger than the T. Josh Heupel says it all the time. So we can't talk about culture, but then let Boo Carter slide and do what he wants. He says Basilio added some context to the situation on Tuesday evening, suggesting Tennessee's leadership council is unhappy with Carter because he's supposedly been unplugged this summer. He also noted that Tennessee went through a similar situation with edge rusher James Pierce last summer. That's interesting. So if we went through that with James Pierce kept his nose clean, went to work throughout the course of the season. So Boo Carter can do the same. Does this mean Boo Carter's getting kicked off? No, it does not. Let's let the situation play out. Here's the quote. Tennessee paid Carter a lot of money to keep him here, and quite frankly, he has not been plugged in this summer. In fact, he's been borderline unplugged. I've been told the picture that's painted is one where he's missed some workouts. He's come late to some team stuff, and you have to understand something about Tennessee's current situation and their current setup. And remember, we're back to the fact that Josh Heupel wants to guard his culture. Again, we can't praise hype. We can't praise hype for the culture and then let Boo Carter get away with this. Man, and I had a great conversation on the phone with Brian Staley recently and talking about Braylon and you know what he's going to do in 2025 and how excited I am for Braylon to get his opportunity. And he said that Braylon told him that this locker room not right now is closer than any team he's ever been a part of. So Josh Heupel, we can't talk about culture and preach culture and then let somebody else be above the law, above the rules. But doesn't mean it's over for Boo Carter. He can still fix this if this is accurate, if this is the picture that's taking place. Here's more from Tony Basilio. One of the ways he does it through the power and the magic of his council. Heupel doesn't just want team captains as part of this council, but he also got guys that are leaders. On the screen right now in a YouTube video, you see Miles Kitzelman. I showed a video earlier on him. You see Josh Josephs, who really was the straw that stirred the drink last year on that defensive line. That was because, well, Pierce drove him crazy and drove everybody crazy. He also drove Rodney Garner crazy. He says, let's get to the Boo situation. Boo Carter this summer, as I just told you, has been unplugged, and the two team leaders, Kitzelman and Josephs, are sick of it. In fact, the whole council is sick of it. In fact, Josh Heupel has a decision to make, and the ball is in his court on what he's going to do with Boo Carter because that council has been vocal toward the head coach, according to people I talked to, that they don't want to see this, a player being unplugged, go on again. I'm not saying whether or not Boo Carter is going to be on Tennessee's football this year. I don't pretend to know that. I'm going to tell you this. This thing is real. This real situation. This is a real problem. This has become a problem, and it is a distraction. So, again, allegedly, all of this is rumor. This is Tony Basilio putting it out there saying he's got sources that this is what's going on. The leadership council has had enough. Boo Carter is showing up late. Boo Carter's missing meetings, missing workouts. And again, we go back to Sam Pendleton and the discipline. Look, I'm going to pay for your sins. You're going to skip practice, and I'm going to sit here and run until I puke. I'm sick of that. You got to be held to a certain standard, and we preach leadership. And I think Miles Kitzelman is going to be that leader on this 2025 football team. But now I'm going to put the ball in your court. You're Josh Heupel. What do? You got a player that's missing practice, skipping practice, showing up late, unplugged. How many times have you had this conversation with him? Has he had an opportunity and not cleaned it up? Do you kick Boo Carter off? Or do you put him above the law? If you're Coach Heupel, how do you handle it? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. If you like what we do on this channel and want to support us, hit that join button right down there below. It's right beside subscribe. You can join the channel for $1 a month. Keeps the lights on, allows us to continue to bring you content every single day. Also, man, go check out the merchandise. Talkin VAWLS merchandise at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We've got rivalry shirts, Buck Fama, FUGA. We want to keep it a little bit more clean. We got Gator Hater, Kentucky's Daddy beat Georgia, beat Florida. We got all kinds of fun stuff over there. Nike themed merchandise, but check it out. The links are in the description. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.